Okay, this is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. I'm sitting here looking at an aerial photo of some property that someone had emailed me about, and the guy said he's fairly new to hunting, and he enjoys my videos, and I appreciate that, Mike. I'm glad you enjoy them. Hope they help you. That's the point in doing this, is to help other people to learn some of the things that I've learned over the past 20 plus years of deer hunting, and the past 20 years of bow hunting. Um, you know, had a few years there. Didn't get to hunt hardly any because I had some rough times a few years back. But now I'm hunting a lot. I'm loving it, and I'm going out and now I'm sharing some of the things I've learned. No, I don't know everything, but hey, I'm just, I know a lot more than the average hunter, and always learning, and always studying. So we're going to look at this property here. I'm not sure I can pinpoint a stand location or anything like that, but I believe that I can give you some areas of interest and kind of, break this property apart for you just a little bit, and hopefully give you some insight, especially when you're new to hunting. A lot of the stuff that I talk about may be a little over your head. You just have to, keep studying it. It's always a learning thing, and the newer you are, it's like anything else. You've got this learning curve as you start learning it. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense to you. The more you learn, the faster you can learn it, and the faster you can take information in and make sense of it. Hope that makes sense to you. But anyways, looking at this property here, first thing I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm going to, in my mind, kind of analyze what kind of hunting pressure I have on it, and you don't even have to use an aerial photo for that. You should be able to tell as your scout if it's public land, it's a little tougher sometimes, but if it's private land, you should pretty well know about the hunting pressure on it. So, anyways, I don't know if you're bow hunting, gun hunting. If you're new to hunting, I would recommend doing as much gun hunting as possible. Dab into some bow hunting because it is fun. It improves your skills as a hunter. Unbelievable when you start learning how to take deer with a bow and arrow. But don't, new hunter, I think it's tough if they try to start out bow hunting because they're going to get frustrated so many times because, killing deer with a bow and arrow can be very tough because everything has to be almost perfect, to do, especially if you're killing more mature deer. The other thing, don't let other people success and the amount of deer they're killing and the size of the deer they're killing and stuff, don't compare yourself to them, because a person of great hunting skill, a person that has a lot of experience, they should kill more deer than you. They should have more success than you. They should be able to find areas to hunt a lot faster than you. They've got the experience. If they can't, then they're not a very good hunter. And to be honest with you, if you've got somebody that's hunted for 10 years and they can't out hunt somebody that's only hunted for 1 year, and they can't find better hunting spots than somebody that's only hunted for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, and they've hunted for 10, 20, or 30 years, then they're not a very good hunter, period. It's just that simple, because they've got so much experience that they should be able to, find it. And there's people that hunt. They don't really hunt to kill deer. They hunt to socialize and stuff like that. But anyways, we're not worried about that. I'm just kind of giving you that as a tip. Don't try to beat yourself up by what other people's doing and success they're doing. Compare you to yourself, how you're learning, how you're developing, how you're seeing more deer, how you're starting to understand how to hunt the wind, how you're starting to understand what kind of foods deer eat, stuff like that. Anyways, this area here, looking at it, you had said that in your email, you said this river looks interesting, and I will totally agree. Now, I know I'm just on a aerial photo here looking at it, but that was, when I first looked at the picture that you sent me, that was the very first thing I seen, was this river. And what's so interesting about it, of course, you've got water, but that's not really what's interesting about it. What's interesting about it, to me, is, I'm going to pull up here because you can see it better. If I can get up here. To me, okay, right here, you see you've got these big trees. This right here, It just looks to me like a bunch of just brush, you know, maybe some type of grasses, some weeds. Looks like, you know, some really good looking thick, you know, young, not young, but thick, short, like some marshy, swampy, you know, really thick looking stuff. Just you know, something like that. Looks very thick. Where the deer would bed, where they'd have a lot of browse, stuff like that. And if that's the case, I'm going, you know, all you got to do is drive down the road and look out through there. And if it's really thick, where deer would bed, where they would spend a lot of their time, you know, then you know that these areas I'm fixing to show you are probably going to be fairly productive. You may have to move around a little bit and hunt, but if that's the case, if this is thick, I'm just going to go and just act like what I would do. Okay, is if I'm coming to this and I've never hunted it, I'm looking at it on aerial photo. What am I going to put in my notes? I take a little notebook and I write down some little notes. I actually take a I'll print out a little picture of the area and I'll circle some areas of interest. Area of interest is, to me, the first area of interest is this river. That's the very first thing I see. That's the first thing I want to investigate, and I will look up and down it to see, hey, are there deer bedding in here? Are there a lot of deer trails coming out? It looks to me like, even on aerial photo, that I can see a couple trails. Okay, here's one here. Okay, you maybe have a light one here, and they're tough to see on aerial photo sometimes. Here's one here. Okay, looks to me like you've got some deer trails coming in and out of just on aerial photo. Can't confirm that until you actually step on the ground. So I want to walk up, see if I've got deer trails, see if I've got rub lines and stuff. And just, even if you've got deer trails, if you don't have rub lines, don't say, well, there's no bucks in here, because that's not always true. There's a lot to do with timing of deer. And bucks make more rubs at certain times of the year than they do other times of the year. Okay, so and hunting pressure and things like that pushes deer around in different areas. That's, you know, I have the course on timing and hunting pressure and mature bucks. That's a good course for anybody that's watching this and has seen areas where there's lots of deer and you know there's deer there, but why is there no bucks? That's a good course, but it'll give you a good grasp on understanding the timing of deer. So I'm going to check that out. If I start finding deer trails and bedding areas and things like that, I'm going to try to find where there's more than one deer trail that comes together. And this actually kind of looks like it right here, possibly. I could be totally wrong on this. But this looks like maybe a deer trail, and maybe here, maybe here. Just saying, where I could get shots at multiple trails. Try to do it. If you're deer stand hunting, you're going to have to find some of these islands of trees and see if you can't hunt them. You may and may not be able to hunt them. I'm sure you've got some trees along these edges, which is another thing of interest, is the edges. Deer love edges. It produces a lot of food, lets sunlight hit the ground. A lot of times you may have some type of oak trees up in this area that are dropping acorns on the edges. You've got, you know, grasses, weeds, vines, you know, berries, all kinds of different things that grow on edges in these thick areas. On that edges, the deer feel a lot safer because they have several escape routes. They can come into these wooded area if they need to. They can run out in towards here. They like edges. Deer love edges. So the edges here are of interest. I want to walk up and down these edges, see what I got. That's probably where you're going to find a lot of your you know, rubs and stuff at. On both sides of the river. Okay, you don't have to do this all in one day either. You know, you can break it out in segments. Actually, you know, when you're hunting an area, this area is about 300 to 400 acres. You know, to really scout that 300 to 400 acres for a person that's got a lot of experience hunting, to really seriously scout that out, that's almost a week project. To just go in and nothing but scouting, looking, gathering some information, putting it, coming back, marking the spots out, you know, where you find rub lines, old scrapes, depending on the time of the year you're looking at it, and all kinds of things. Where you find these type of trees these type of trees that deer are going to feed in at certain types of year, stuff like that, and start putting that information together. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to do it right. So, go in, walk the river, walk this thick stuff, walk the edges, looking for deer trails coming in and out, rubs, scrapes, things like that. Always look for old rubs. Don't be afraid, when you find new rubs. Old rubs tell a lot of sign too. So, you just have to look for that kind of stuff and start understanding it. So you've got, both of these. And then you do that, you want to walk up and down, walk this area here inside the wooded area, seeing what type of trees you have, what type of oak trees. If you don't know oak trees very well, look, contact your forestry agency or something. Ask them where you can get some information on the general types of oak trees, food-bearing trees for deer. Call your game and fish, whatever. Ask them where you can get some information so you can get a website possibly that you can look at to see the different types of trees in your area that are producing acorns. White oak trees are very good. There's bur oak. There's all kinds of oak trees, and being able to identify them and knowing when they drop their acorns is very important because you need to walk these and see what type of trees you have. It looks to me like you've got some larger trees right here, smaller trees here, and then it comes into some smaller trees like this, may be a little bit thicker, and then it comes back into some big trees here. Okay, so walk that, see where your large mass producing trees are. Same here, take this in steps, walk this field edges, look at the different trails coming in and out, things like that. Find deer trails, follow them deer trails, see where they go. You may find deer trails here and follow them plumb through this and find out, hey, the deer are bedding here. Or it could be vice versa. You may be walking this, find food trails, figure out that they're actually feeding here and bedding over here. Follow them trails and do that stuff, scout that out, spend the time. Same with here. You want to walk these edges, looking at that, looking at what kind of food you have, looking at the different types of plants, and do it. Scout at different times of the year. Don't just scout before deer season. Scout before deer season, looking at your oak trees, seeing when they have the acorns on, which trees have acorns on. Guys, I always like to scout in the winter time too, because that gives you a good time to find greenery that deer can eat. And when you find greenery that deer can eat in the wintertime, especially if you have open season like bow season, a lot of times is open in the middle of winter. Sometimes there's Christmas hunts, stuff like that. You can get in there. You find that green food source, and that's the only green that deer have. You're gonna almost find every deer in the daggone area on that. Okay, so this video here is mostly about how to scout it. I can't pinpoint and say, hey, bam, throw a tree there. I don't see enough funnels or anything like that on this area to do that. And usually when you do that, it's a funnel, a pinch point where the deer have to move together, things like that. Bottlenecks, they're all the same thing basically. Stuff like that the deer are using. Now, if deer are walking down this and this river is hard to cross, you could have a pinch point here where the deer don't want to walk across this river. It looks like the river is fairly shallow. It could be too muddy, whatever. But I can't, pinpoint an area to hunt. Even if, I said, hey, this is the perfect funnel right here. Let's just say it. This looked like, I'm just saying. Even if, this looked like the perfect funnel on aerial photo, you get down, walk it on ground, it may not be worth a darn. So you always have to go in and scouting. And you're new to deer hunting. If you're new to deer hunting, the best thing for you to do is to get in here, walk these woods, find you some spots. Don't get hung up on one spot, one particular spot. And if you really scout it right, you start finding rubs, scrapes, things like that, and deer trails. And walking them deer trails and figuring out the timing by understanding what the heck the deer's doing and why the deer's making that rub and that scrape. Because all that deer tracks are, rubs, scrapes are, deer sign ons like that, is, hey, there was deer here at some time. Okay, the thing is figuring out the timing. That's why I made the course on timing and hunting mature pressure deer. Say it in a lot of videos, but that is the key, is figuring out the timing, because when you're finding rubs and stuff, hey, that's old stuff. Not saying that it's not valuable. It's very valuable information if you know how to digest it and use it to understand when the deer are using that. Because a lot of times you find rubs and scrapes, rub lines that are old rub lines, and that happens a lot. The deer are done using that rub line, and people will sit there and hunt that rub line, and the deer's not going to come down it until the timing is right. If you don't get that timing right, it's not going to do you any good. Check out deerhuntingschool.com for more information and tips and things like that on deer hunting. I hope you enjoyed the video, Mike. I hope it gives you some insight. I know you're new to hunting. Keep learning, keep studying, keep watching my videos, other people's videos. Don't just get stuck on, just my stuff. There's other people's stuff that's good information too. Be careful. I will warn you on this. Be careful on a lot of the celebrity, what I call celebrity deer hunting, because a lot of that, they're hunting areas that you don't have access to, and they're hunting very unpressured deer, and they can be misleading in ways because their deer are going to act totally different than what most people are hunting. If this area, if you're the only one hunting this 400 or 500 acres, if you're the only one hunting this 300 to 400 acres and you're hunting it right and you understand how to hunt the wind perfectly and all that, this would be like an area that they're going to be hunting. But usually these guys are hunting 2 and 3 and 1,000, 4,000 acres that have no hunting pressure on them, hardly whatsoever. So keep studying deer hunting, get you some information. Information is key. Taking in and learning it, and it's going to be a process. Okay, Mike? It's going to be a process to where you can understand the information, and then you start putting it together as you get it more and more, because when you first start out, it's overwhelming because it doesn't make a lot of sense to you. Things like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to you, but the more you understand about the deer and studying deer, because the more and the faster you'll be able to learn it. Because I'll be honest with you, I watch and read books, and I am subscribed to unbelievable amounts of magazines, and I read about deer. I watch videos about deer. I probably, honestly, I spend more money on deer hunting information than any other thing else, because I feel that is the greatest thing you can do, is to fill your brain full of knowledge, because your brain is the most powerful thing that you have, is your greatest asset in the world, no matter what, other than God Almighty and Jesus Christ. Your brain is the most powerful asset and the greatest asset you will ever have. Okay? So keep learning it, keep studying deer. Hope this video helped you out, Mike. Get in there, do some scouting. Them are the areas I'm going to look at first. First, I'm going to look up the river. I'm going to look at these edges. I'm going to look at the trees, see what kind of trees I have. At the entire time, I'm looking for rubs, scrapes, deer trails, things like that. And then I'm going to come back, marking them down, on my map, writing stuff down, and start trying to figure it out, what the heck are these deer doing. And then as I start hunting it, I'm going to start seeing deer, and then I'm going to start seeing directions they're moving, things like that. And then I'm going to come back, do the same thing. I'm going to add more stuff. And then after a period of time, I'm going to have the area figured out pretty doggone good. And then I'm going to know when to move in on the deer at the perfect time. I'm going to move in, shoot a video. Hey, this is the first time I hunted it. Bam, I see $5, boom, kill one. And people, they think, wow, this is amazing. Well, the thing is, it takes a lot of work, buddy. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. Anyone else, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out deerhuntingschool.com for more tips, information, things like that on deer hunting. Have a good day, and bye-bye.